Alright, we got Cornish rockin' tonight with corn, pumpkin, and baby bok choy. So I'll put the knife on the steel quickly. I'm going to bone these little Cornish hens. They're kind of small, so first off I'm going to start with my shears and trim a little bit of the excess fat that's all around, usually about that around the butt and under the legs a little bit. Then we're going to cut it starting on the back, right across the thigh bone there. Oops, get it right through the joint and cut all the way along the spine. So we're going to take the spine out and we're going to debone the Cornish hen. So when we're done, the only bones left are going to be the leg bone and the wing bone. So that way when you eat it, it's just a nice piece of meat to cut into and enjoy. So taking the spine right off, and then just trim off any little bones here. I'm going to get my paring knife out here, and we're going to just go under the breastbone a little bit. Paring knife's good for this because the rock hen's really small, so the boning knife's a bit long. Let's give a bit of trim on both sides, and then slide the knife right underneath the backbone and take it right out. Alright, so just take it through the wing bone a little bit underneath. Now, when you do slice this piece out, sometimes a small piece of cartilage stays behind. You want to make sure to get that all out, so when you're eating, when you slice into the breast meat, you're not going to get a mouthful of cartilage. Trim off all around any excess bones around the thighs, and then we're going to take the thigh bone right out of here. So let's give it a little trimming. Take all little pieces off here and there. Make sure it's all nice and clean. All right, looks good, and trim off any excess fat. All right through that wing bone. These shears are great. They cut through anything almost. Alright, so this is bird number 2. We're going to take it right back across the backbone, take out that spine, give it a quick trim any excess fat. Now we're going to take the thigh bone out. So I push the leg down. I just make a small slice where you can feel along the bone. I run my fingers underneath a little bit, slide the knife in backwards and slide it down and give it a bit of scrape. Just scrape kind of down towards the joint, and all the meat will come down. And then a quick slice through the joint, and the bone just pops right out. So now when we eat this, it's going to be only have those 2 bones, which is fantastic. Alright, so next I'm going to chop up some thyme. We're going to do fresh thyme, a little bit of sesame oil, and some nice shallots. So I'm going to peel the shallots and slice them up. Shallots have that nice sweet flavor. We're going to marinate the 2 hens with the thyme, shallots, and sesame oil for about 4 hours in the fridge. So you get a nice little flavor soaking into the meat. The shallots are so sweet. Alright, so we're just going to give these a quick chop them up, get them ready to go. That's the way we like to do it at our house. Alright, so almost there. And the slice, take the little piece off the bottom. We don't want to eat that. That's always a little bit tough to chew, a little bit bitter. Alright, so now what we're going to do is get the Cornish hens ready here. So I'm going to lay them out and season them. It's a mixture of cracked black pepper and sea salt. So I'm crushing it all nicely all over the meat, sprinkling that fresh thyme that I chopped up evenly over the 2 hens. And a little bit of sesame oil. I'll probably put about a 1/4 teaspoon of sesame oil between the 2 birds. Just kind of mix it all up a little bit, and then I'm going to put it in a container and put it in the fridge. We're going to put the rest of the shallots all around the chicken, and a little bit more at the thyme. There we go. Packed up nicely in the fridge for about 4 hours. Alright, so my pumpkin. This knife's such a great tool. Slices through these pumpkins easy. So I'm going to slice the pumpkin up. Had some pumpkins in the fridge left over, so we're going to use it. It's a nice vegetable tonight. I'm going to cook it with the corn. We're going to do corn and pumpkin. And just a couple ounces of water. Get that in the pot. Open the vent on a medium heat. When the whistle goes off, we're going to shut it down to the lowest heat. Shut the vent for about 5 minutes. Alright, so the pan's nice and hot, the water's beating. So I put the hens into the pan. Now I'm putting down the meat side first and leaving the fat side up. I'm wanting to do that so I can brown that meat side nice and crispy brown. And then there won't be an excess amount of fat in the pan. So the rest of that fat is going to cook up nicely when we flip the chicken over, because we're going to cook some potatoes in there and the rest of those shallots. So at this point, the hens are into the pan. I've taken some baby potatoes and I've put them into the container with the rest of the shallots from the marinating and some chives. We can let that fry up for about 10 to 12 minutes. Okay, so it's about 12 minutes later. We're ready to give it a flip. Now, when you flip your hens over, be careful because there's no bones in there. You don't want it to break apart. We want to try and keep the form whole. So you want the bird to stay in its complete state. Try not to let the legs fall off. They can fall off easy because there's no bone holding them together. So a quick easy flip on the first one. Then we do a quick easy flip on the second one. So once we get them nicely flipped over, what we're going to do next is add the potatoes, add the chives and the shallots. We're going to put the lid on and wait for that whistle to go off. So right at this point, we've been sitting on a medium heat this whole time. So we add the potatoes, add those ingredients, leave it on that just a little bit over medium heat with the vent open. When the whistle goes off, we're going to turn it down to a medium-low heat for 14 minutes, and then it's good to go. Alright, so I got my bok choy. This is the last thing I'm going to throw into the pan. So I've put the lid on there. I'm waiting for the whistle to go off. The whistle goes off. I'm going to add in my baby bok choy. That's going to cook nicely for the last few minutes here. Okay, so we give that, shut the vent, turn it down to a low heat, and we give it another 14 minutes or so. Alright, there we go. And we're going to take that aside, just move the bok choy to one side, and we get some nice sauce, and the chicken's going to pour over that bok choy. And then we have our raw Cornish hen, looking lovely, nicely browned. So get some potatoes on the plate, with Cornish hen. We have our pumpkin, corn, baby bok choy, a little bit of our reduction gravy, and that's our Cornish hen with only a couple bones, and that is the way we like to do it at Chef Warren's house.